Hello and welcome to another episode of Healing with Nama. I'm Casey and today I'm going to be just sharing a little bit about myself, why I started the podcast, maybe like a reintroduction to people who are just now getting into the show, because it's been a while since I've done like an introductory episode. And I know that it's growing and people are listening all over the world. I really appreciate that. So I just felt like maybe just doing a quick little episode to tell you a little bit about why I started this, because you guys have gotten to know me a lot already if you're listening to the show. But just basic information, I guess. So my name is Casey. The show is called Healing with Nama. Nama is a nickname that one of my nieces has for me, short for Namaste. And I call the show Healing with Nama because my intention is to touch on healing from different perspectives, different avenues. But the core emphasis of the show is healing. So just talking about the different ways that we heal, right? We're very complex as humans and we go through so many different things, and there's so many different ways that we can heal. I don't personally feel that anyone ever is going to be fully healed, but we're always growing and healing and learning and at least trying. So that is my intention with this show, is to always be talking about stuff that's thought-provoking, that's holistic. A lot of it has to do with spirituality because I am a spiritual person, and just natural, really digging deep into who we are as people, the things that we go through, the things that I go through personally, and sharing my experiences with you in hopes that it helps you, because I think even for me, just listening to other people's, not necessarily problems, but listening to other people's problems or experiences kind of gets me out of my head for a minute and lets me focus on something else, or just gives me an avenue to put my energy into that's not worrying about something or constantly trying to fix stuff or whatever, you know what I mean? So for the show, I hope that people just find some relatability, some good advice, learning, growing, epiphanies, aha moments, as Oprah calls them, and things that maybe I hadn't thought of in the way that you hear them on the show. That's my intention, is for you to leave every episode feeling like you learned at least a little bit of something, or if not, you felt understood and you felt heard. You felt like somebody is going through or has been through something that you also have been through, because I felt like I could have definitely used that when I was going in through, even now, but when I was going in the beginning of my journey, going through all of this stuff, I definitely felt alone and I didn't have anybody really to talk to. So this is my way of giving back, just helping support you along the way if you're feeling, anxious or whatever. I hope that the show would bring you comfort and some peace of mind to know that you're not alone. A lot of people are going through what you're going through. It may not be the exact same thing that you're going through, but in a way, a lot of people have been there. And if they haven't been there, then they would like to empathize and would like to understand. And I know that there are a lot of people out there who don't have a support system and don't have people around them who understand them. So this is what I would like to think of as a safe space. This is somewhere you can explore the things that you want to explore, and listen to me talk about the things that I sometimes don't share with other people, to bring you some sort of comfort. And so about me, my name is Casey, and I am from California, and I've born and raised in California. I've only left a couple of times, Southern California to be exact. I was the youngest for, okay, I have an older sister, I have a younger brother. So yeah, that's a little bit about me and my family life. Mom and dad are split up. I also have a stepmom and a stepsister. So that's just a little bit about my family. And I've been a teacher for almost 15 years at this point. It's something that I am very good at, and that comes to me very naturally. Working with kids has always come naturally to me. I don't know that I would say I'm passionate about it per se, because I've been wanting to leave the field for a while and it just hasn't happened that way. And the way I look at it now is, maybe these kids that I'm working with now, they need me. Maybe they need somebody like me, and that's why I'm still in this field or in this certain position. So that's the way that I look at it. I feel intuitively that this year will be the year where I'm able to step out of that career field and into more things like this, where I'm talking about things I'm passionate about, helping people, self-development, spirituality, stuff like that. That's my goal and my intention and what I believe is going to happen. So with that being said, I feel that this year will be the year that I'm saying, see you later to the teaching world, because it's been a really long time, way longer than I intended it to be, that's for sure. But I do enjoy, I teach preschool, and I do enjoy being with kids and, being with them, being a teacher. I don't think that part of me will ever leave. I'm always a teacher. Anytime there are kids around, I'm in teacher mode. So I don't think that part of me will ever leave, but it's not my desired career path. Let's see. So I grew up mostly with my mom and my sister and my granny, who passed away. My dad was around but didn't live in the house with me. And so I've mainly grown up around lots and lots of strong women. That's my main example, is seeing women get stuff done, because we didn't have any men to depend on to do stuff. So we are all quite fiercely independent and strong, and learning how to be in our more feminine energy, our softer energy, and let people do things for us, because it's not been our experience. Just me growing up, that's not what I saw. So that wasn't what I did, and I've learned a lot, especially in the last year or so, to reach out for help and allow people to help me, and allow people to see when I'm struggling instead of hiding it and suffering in silence. Because for a long time I did that, and to my own detriment, obviously, but it's because I just didn't know any better. Like, I didn't like asking for help. I'm very independent. I want to figure out how to do it on my own. I don't want to ask anybody for help. I don't want to be tied to anybody else's opinion or what they think I should do, or telling me what to do. I hate being told what to do. I really do. So I like to do things on my own so that I have control over it. And I'm learning more and more about myself every day. But I know at the core is that very strong woman who was raised by very strong women, who is learning to be a little bit softer. And my upbringing, a little chaotic. If you've heard of other episodes, you'll know about things that have happened in my childhood and how I came up. Most of the time, to keep it brief, just because I don't want this episode to be super long, I was very, very, and still am, sensitive, always very different. I didn't ever feel like I belonged in my family. I felt very much an outsider, and a lot of people, I feel like, use the black sheep in a different way than what I mean, but I felt like the black sheep in the sense of I was just very different. Nobody understood me, nobody understood who I was and how I was, and they just couldn't make sense of who I am and who I was, because I was very different. I was an old soul, very wise at a young age, always wanting to talk things out, always had some words of wisdom, like just very different. And I know for sure the adults around me didn't know how to handle that. So for a long time in my life, I felt like something was wrong with me. I was a bad person, or, I just didn't like myself because I wasn't made to feel like who I was okay. I was always made to feel like something was wrong with me, or I was too sensitive, or blah, blah, blah. So it took me a really long time to get to a space where I accepted myself and I loved myself. Still working on that. And honestly, it's only been about a year or so to where I really fully feel content with who I am. And that means like holistically. So my physical appearance, emotionally, spiritually, just really liking myself. Because I don't think there was ever a point where I hated myself, but I didn't really like who I was. I wanted to be somebody else. And I just wasn't comfortable with allowing people to see me because I hadn't felt safe to be seen. So in this spiritual journey, that's been something that's been a blessing to me, is learning who I am and being okay with it, and allowing people to see that and know that it's okay. So that's what this journey and this podcast, everything that I've done along the way has given me myself. I've allowed myself to open up and be authentic, really. And the podcast has really helped me to do that too, because it's given me a platform to just be myself and say how I really feel and put it out there. And I don't know each individual person who's listening to this. I'm never going to meet all the people who have listened to these episodes. So it's a really good way to kind of get that out there, and it's a little bit less anxiety provoking because I have no idea who's listening to these episodes. So it's a safe way for me to just say what I need to say, be myself, and there is no fear of judgment or anything like that because I don't know who's listening. So it's kind of cool to be able to just be myself, and it's made me more comfortable with being myself in my general life, like in real life with people. So I'm really thankful. I can't say it enough, but I'm just really thankful for anybody who listens to the podcast, everybody who's been listening, sharing, even if it was just one episode. It makes a difference to me because I feel like what I'm doing matters and it makes a difference, and it makes me want to keep going, to see that people in different countries are listening and keep coming back for these episodes and all that kind of stuff. So, not to get too far off track, but that's who I was, how it affected me, and then, who I am now. And the reasons why I made the podcast are because of that little girl and that teenager who never felt right. She never felt accepted. She never felt good enough. She didn't feel safe and didn't feel accepted. And I'm making this podcast for her, to allow her to have a voice and speak up for herself and share her story and get to know herself more, because she deserves that. She deserves that healing and that opportunity to be fully herself that she didn't get as a young person during that time where I feel like you are not supposed to, but what am I trying to say? You always just want to feel like who you are is okay. And I don't feel like I got the chance to do that. So I'm making this podcast for people who are like me, who don't feel like who they are is okay, or feel like they're always made to feel badly about who they are, or don't even know who they are and want to figure that out. Of course, other people listen to the podcast that are interested in the different topics, but my intention is to be speaking to those people who feel like outsiders and outcasts and just have no idea where their place is in the world. I want you to have this is your space. This is where you can come and connect and just listen to me talking and build a community in some way by, connecting on social media with me and connecting with other people through my social media, leaving comments and questions on the podcast, reviews, stuff like that, just so that people know that they're not alone and you can physically see that you're not alone. So, anyway, that's my introduction. That's why I'm making the podcast. That's who I am. I'm Casey. I'm still figuring it out. And I'm having fun along the way. I can finally say I'm really enjoying my life. I'm happy. There are things that I would like to change. There are things that I'm working on changing. And it's always going to be that way, I feel. But for the most part, at the core of who I am, I feel like I'm in a stable place. And that's a good place to be. So I hope that you guys will keep listening to all the episodes coming. And I will try to be as consistent as I can. But I've kind of let myself be with forcing myself to make content and episodes if I'm not feeling it, or if I don't have anything to say. I don't like to just get on here and make episodes just for the sake of making episodes. I want to have meaningful stuff to say when I put episodes out. So it may be a little inconsistent, but there will still be new episodes. So just stay locked in, stay connected, and thank you so much for joining me on my journey.